Shalom, everybody. Welcome back to Asia Streams. Today we have a video from the Breakfast Club. I'm not sure what this elder's name is, but I just want to share with you all what he says. So let's get right into it.
So my wife says, well, Jay, when you come home, I would love for you to acknowledge me first instead of going to little Jay. I said, okay, I'll do that. And then he says, what about you, Jay? And so I'm sitting there. Inside of me, I'm like, man, I wish you would just submit to me, submit to my leadership. Stop bucking against what I say. That's the flesh. That's anger. But what I really was feeling was like, it hurts because she doesn't trust me. And so I turned to Nicole. I said, hey, I would like for you to trust me. And she just shook her head and she knew exactly what I was saying because that was from my heart.
Mm-hmm.
The anger is never really the real issue. And I have to tell men, anger, the scriptures say, be angry but do not sin. There's a fine line. It's a great power if used correctly. However, when we really dig deep to what's really going on underneath that anger and express that, that's when we can really communicate with the women in our lives. If we're always dogmatic, if someone's swinging at me, I'm putting my hands up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're swinging, you're in a dogmatic mode, your wife or the woman in your life, she's going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you say, babe, that really hurts that every time I make a decision or give an idea to something, you always counter it like almost like my mom, like you scared I'm going to make a mistake that's going to destroy this home.
Mm-hmm.
When you convey it that way and say it really hurts me as a man, I'm trying to do my best. I didn't have this example, but I'm just trying to set a standard for our home. My wife started doing this, and then eventually she just dropped her guard and opened her heart for me. And I had to do the same thing, because our women also have to unlearn society's definition of a man as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just like we ask for grace from them, we got to give them grace as well to unlearn what they've been deceived to believe a man.
Yes, I love exactly. I wish I could find the full length of this video, but that is exactly what I'm talking about right there. Like, that was such a good conversation that he had with his wife. And I can reflect on a time in my first marriage. I was dealing with a brother who was like what he explained, very dogmatic. I'm not even sure what dogmatic means, but I don't want to use inflammatory words like aggressive or abusive, because women tend to use those words out of context and emotionally all the time. So I won't say that he was that, but he was very, very assertive about his manhood. And I know that I played a part in that due to my lack of submission and respect for him. But at the same time, like he said, that's not what's always called for or necessary when you're dealing with a woman. Women, especially my sisters, we have a lot of things to unlearn, right? We have a lot of things to get rid of, a lot of characteristics that we have to change. And so whenever we're with a man and we've never experienced a real man, like a man who knows how to sit in his manhood and not yell and not hit us and not throw things around, it can become kind of scary. And if we're really for that man, the biggest thing for the woman, because I can say I experience this now, the biggest thing for me is I have to trust the man. I have to trust him. And so whenever I'm doing like this, like he said, like putting my guard up, it's more so of a thing because the world has conditioned me to protect myself. I was raised by women who I never saw men protect them. I've always saw them have to protect themselves from men. And so in every situation, it can be something small. Something as small as how she said, when you get home, can you greet me instead of greeting the children? It's probably something she was thinking about all day long. And the fact that she communicated it is a huge step. But I know some of my sisters, just like I used to do, will have a problem and hold on to it and let it fester, because we don't properly know how to communicate or properly know how to be emotionally intelligent. I do not believe that women are more emotionally intelligent than men. I believe that women have more emotions, which can really be bad when you're not emotionally intelligent, because that means that all you're doing is feeling all day long and not knowing what categories to put feelings in and how to deal with your feelings so that you can get over them. So I think that this is very good. As an elder, I'm pretty sure this is something that he learned through the wisdom and experience that he's gained in his life. But I believe that it is something that people like my age, I'm 28, and people younger and people older, like everybody can implement this in their relationships. If you're with a woman and you know that she's for you, I'm not talking about the woman that you're with and you know that she's not for you, right? I'm talking about the woman that you're with and you know that she's for you. Or to my sisters, like if you know that you're with a man but you have these issues of always putting your guard up and always being combative and argumentative, you have to know that these are things that you have to unlearn. You have to learn a new way of being, and that can be difficult, but we don't want to use the excuse of it being, we don't want to use the fact of it being difficult as an excuse. So yeah, I just really love this video. I loved how they were able to communicate, and how in the end, through him, instead of showing her aggression and showing her how manly he is and how he can make the decision and this is his house, instead he took a softer route and was able to almost like love her into submission. And it, you know, I think of the women who be like, I'll be submissive when a man does this and a man does that. You know, I don't agree with that. I believe a woman should always be submissive. But at the same time, I look at it logically. I think about what my sisters have been through in history, right? Like the 400 years of slavery, the fact that we're only about 2 or 3 generations out of slavery, and how women, black women were treated, Israelite women were treated, and how just, you know, women of color, rather, whichever one you want to identify with at the time, you know, how they were treated throughout history, and the type of defenses that are almost genetic at this point, especially if they were raised by a single mother. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have value as a woman or can add value to your life as a man, but that could mean that you may have to put in a little work with her. You may have to be a little patient with her and show her that she can actually trust you. Because if she's a woman like me, I was getting abused since I could remember, like 2 to like 12. And so I had very big difficulty in trusting a man. Very big difficulty, like, no, like even liking men. Like I had a vitriol for men. I never said that I don't need a man, but I walked and I talked and I acted like that. So once I got presented with how to heal, and once I was able to begin to trust a man, everything changed for me. So I know it's a lot of sisters out there who are just holding on to a lot of anger and a lot of hurt, whether it was something that they saw or something that they experienced. I just really love when love and patience can be used to change someone. It's beautiful because you know what I'm saying? A lot of men say, or I've heard a lot of men say they don't have time for that. They don't have time to get a woman to where she needs to be. But I just wonder, it's so many women who need a little time and need a little work to get to where they need to be from a man. And it's like, if no men want to do this, then what are all those women supposed to do? I'm not saying it's a man's responsibility. Healing is definitely something that's done on an individual basis. Even if you're with a woman and you decide to help her and to love her and to be patient with her, she would still have to make the choice to heal and to listen to you and to trust you. So it's not fully on the man, but I'm just saying, see how helpful that is. This is a prime example for one of our elders, how helpful it is when a man takes the initiative to realize what he's dealing with and why it is that he's dealing with it like this, and to take a much just softer and forgiving and patient route. Now, I know some women are rebellious and some women won't listen, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the women who you know will listen, who you know do care about you, but they have these problems. They put up these walls. They get aggressive. They don't want to be accountable. And it's like, it's not in every situation. It's just in situations where they're emotions are heightened. You may have to teach your woman how to deal with her emotions. Maybe no one ever has. And you know, I don't know, maybe I want to apologize on behalf of all my sisters that this is now the responsibility of our men. But you know, we're up under you as women, right? We're supposed to be subjected to the man. We're supposed to serve the man. So as the weaker vessel, I believe that this is what men should do. They should begin to take this initiative to be the gardeners, to be the husbands in the women's lives, to put them and place them and get them to where they need to be. And women as well, my sisters, you have to be willing to submit, and you have to be willing to trust. You have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to be accountable. Because if you don't, neither of us will get anywhere. There will be no progression. There will be no marriages. Everything will continue to be the way it is. Like the negativity on all these podcasts, preaching for people not to get married. You don't want to give single mothers a chance. You don't want to give older women a chance. You don't want to give young women a chance because they don't know how to think. Like, it's just so much negativity, and I believe there is a culture being presented to us now that is driving people apart instead of putting them together. The man and woman needs each other. So for us to think that we can do it alone is a delusional act on both sides. I've seen it from the men and the women. So it's like, you know, we just need to work together as a collaborative. And I bet more marriages, more children, more happiness begins to be produced upon people taking the initiative to just know what the problem is. Like, we all know what the problem is, but okay, we know what the problem is. Okay, so let's work on the solution. You know what? So I appreciate you all for sitting with me today. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified the next time I upload a video. And just know that I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I wish the best for you. Shalom.